Have you ever worked with a developer that made your life miserable? I have, and I bet you have too. And even worse, I'm betting that other person honestly just didn't even realize that they were making you more miserable. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over my top 5 toxic traits that I believe some software engineers are showing, and this is based entirely off my experiences. So I'm sure there are many, many more, but here are my 5. So let's dive in. The first toxic trait, in my opinion, is a banger, because holy shit, have I dealt with this over and over and over again. And that trait is the not invented here syndrome. Real talk. Raise your hand if you have ever worked with a developer who is absolutely determined that every tool and product is handwritten, hand designed, and hand produced by your team. And I don't mean like individually produced, but I mean it is absolutely critical to them that everything is a custom solution, even if there are already solutions out there existing. And I don't know if they're looking for praise or clout, or if it's just an ego trip, or they're having fun, or what the hell they're doing. Maybe they have been burned so damn bad in the past that they're, I don't know, afraid of using public tools. But I remember as a junior engineer, one time we were making this ETL type microservice, and my boss at the time, my senior engineer, was so damn determined that every part of that ETL was custom handmade software. Wouldn't consider NiFi, wouldn't consider Beam, wouldn't consider Amazon stuff back then. Literally nothing. If it did not come out of his mouth in an architectural design to the bosses, it was not something that he would even consider adding to the whole solution. So 3 months later, we have this highly configurable pipeline. We have this amazing microservice, and it was 100% custom, and it was basically Apache NiFi. Toxic trait number 2 is what I'm calling the jaded gatekeeper. Though some other people just might say he's being an ass. I'm willing to bet that someone out there has made you feel like an inconvenience for asking questions or asking for help. This is a true story, and I can laugh about it now because I've moved on, I guess. But back then, it really, really stung. And I remember one time, it was the day before a sprint ending, and I asked my senior engineer for some help. And I wasn't met with like, sure, I'll help you, or hey, why don't you try looking at this resource? I was met with this senior engineer literally telling me that my question was not important enough, and that the deadline for tomorrow, the sprint deadline, was more important. And from that day forward, I literally asked them not a single additional question. I didn't want to talk with them. I didn't want to hang out with them. I didn't even want their help anymore. It was embarrassing. I was frustrated. And I guess hindsight 2020, things didn't work out for them anyways, because a few months after that incident, they got terminated. So clearly there was something else bigger going on that I just didn't understand at the time. But it surely sucked being met with a, I can't help you, off for a couple days and I'll help you in the future. And you'll know if you met this person when you get responses like, just go read the code. You should know this already. Google, period. Like, that's literally the whole response. And my best, most favorite one, I thought we already talked about this. Like, give me a break. Of course, I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm gonna freaking Google it before I come and ask you questions and take your time. Hell, I probably will ask ChatGPT. But if somebody is asking multiple times, it probably wasn't explained very well. Trait number 3 is what I'm calling the over-optimizer. And I hear you. Some of you are probably rolling your eyes and saying, no shit, Peacock. You need to optimize your software. We need to be performant. We have to be able to scale. And genuinely, I am with you. You should be able to worry about all those things and consider all those things. But let's not forget there's always that one developer who is immediately talking about back pressure for a system that's not yet been deployed. And if it is deployed, isn't even handling at least 1,000 messages a second or some arbitrary number. And based off my experiences, this is always that person that gets lost in murals and Udemy courses and doesn't actually contribute to the code base. And I say this jokingly, but low-key serious. These are the developers that are worried about distributed systems, but it's very likely that this software could run on a Raspberry Pi. And if you're this person, stop it. I actually want to write code, and I don't want another 1 hour long meeting just to talk about your latest and updated mural design. We actually want to hit the sprint goal this week. Toxic trait number 4 is the gossiper, and I am guaranteeing you that you have at least one gossiper in your organization. Look, I don't want to call anyone out, but you'll know if you are this developer, you understand the office politics and the drama more than you understand the code solutions. This is the person that spends more time in Slack DMs than something like Visual Studio Code. And honest to God, I have literally seen another developer know another developer's PIP that they were about to receive. Like developer B didn't even know about it yet, but somehow developer A, that gossiper, understood that so-and-so was getting a PIP, and it was the latest, craziest thing, and they just needed to go tell somebody about it. And I don't know where this person gets their information from, who their source is, why they honestly care so much, but if this is you, just know that you're hurting your team more than you can imagine. And the last toxic trait of software engineers is what I'm calling the stack superiority complex. Maybe it's just me, but I don't give a shit if you use VS Code, if you use Vim, if you're a JavaScript fanboy, if you love Java. I don't care. But this toxic engineer, they do care. And apparently it is all they care about. You see, they are the engineers that say, oh, that's front-end code, I don't touch that shit. Or they look over your shoulder and say stupid things like, oh, why are you using that Docker extension? Just use the command line because it's so much faster. Like seriously, nobody cares if you can write everything in assembly, or if you know all of the Vim shortcuts by hand, or if you're loving Next.js or Remix or freaking Tailwind or CSS, Sass, whatever. Nobody actually cares. And oftentimes, these are the people that make fun of you for using JavaScript over TypeScript, but they haven't actually shipped a product themselves that real humans are using. And I've seen this firsthand. I've witnessed multiple engineers over communicating and talking past each other just because they're nitpicking each other's tech stacks or tool suite or whatever they like to use. The fact that one person likes the GUI and the other person likes the command line. And instead of solving the real problems, the one that they actually got into a meeting for, they just at each other for the tools that they're using. And of course, for this engineer, it works on my machine, so why should I help you anyways? So that wraps up my top 5 toxic engineer traits. And look, if you resonate with some of these, or if you're recognizing that maybe this is you, don't stress. Just try to be a little more self-aware. Try to take a step back and analyze. Are you being overcritical? Are you being obnoxious? Or are you just being an ass? All you need to do is stop, take a breath of fresh air, and realize that you have an opportunity to try something new. But I want to know, what are some of the toxic traits that you all have experienced? I only gave you 5, and I'm sure there are a million. So drop a comment down below. I'm really excited to hear from you all, and I'm hoping we can have some fun with these, because if you can't have fun, if you can't talk a little shit, if you can't pick on yourself and the field that you belong in, I don't know, I just think you're being a little too strict, and you're losing out on some simple joys. And if you made it this far in the video, I would immensely appreciate if you hit the subscribe button, hit thumbs up, and in return, my promise to you is that I will continue showing up every single Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, I will see you all next week. Peace.